All right. Well, we will get started and people will join as they join. I am recording so I can post it for people to watch at another time. So we won't keep you guys waiting since you were on time. Welcome to the February webinar. Thank you, BJ, for having your camera on. If anybody else would like to put their camera on, feel free. Everybody, if you could just keep your microphones muted. If you have any questions, kind of hang on to them until the Q&A, or you can put them in the chat box and I'll take a look at them to talk about during the Q&A. And at the end, we'll do a raffle for a box of business cards, and we are recording this meeting. So here's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you a little overview of what's happening with the membership renewal and especially the New Jersey license renewal for those of you that are licensed in New Jersey. I have a role play recorded between myself and Lucia, one of our referral coordinators, with some sample conversations that you can have just to give you kind of like, the fly on the wall of how conversations can go, just to take the fear out of having these kind of conversations away. Then we're going to talk about 2 challenges that are facing homeowners today and a little bit about where on earth is everybody moving to when they are moving. So first, I'd always like to introduce our team so you know who the people are behind the scenes. Anne and Holly are our membership coordinators. You probably won't have to deal with them going forward, but should you happen to have anybody that you wanted to refer to us, if they were a brand X agent or a newly licensed agent, maybe that's considering putting their license into referrals, don't forget that you can earn $100 if they sign, if you refer them. So keep that in mind. And we have 3 referral experience coordinators, Juan, Lucia, and Sarah. And they are really your most important day-to-day point people. When you have a referral, that's who you call. If you have a question, that's who you call. If you're not sure if you're allowed to do something or not, that's who you call. Beverly handles commission. So if you have a closing coming up and you have a question or, anything to do with the money, you give Beverly a call, and any licensing questions goes to Brittany. All right, so here's what's happening with membership and license renewals this year. If you are licensed in New Jersey, and I'm separating out New Jersey from every place else because it functions differently in the other states. If you are licensed in New Jersey, we collect your biannual state license renewal fee, and we then pay it on your behalf. So you don't pay the state directly, you pay us, we pay the state. Other states, you log on to the Department of, real estate websites and you pay yourself at all different times of the year, whatever your cycle is for your state. But for New Jersey, the biannual renewal for the state license, different than membership. So the state license is this coming June is the deadline. We start collecting the money for that this year at the beginning of May. So we'll collect your membership, your 125 membership plus your license renewal, which I believe is $100. We'll collect that starting May 1st through June. A little bit earlier, probably at some point in April, the state will open up the website that lets you go on and certify those 6 questions they ask you that you need to do. So New Jersey renewals have 2 parts, the money and going onto the website to answer the questions. The questions will open up before we even start collecting the money. So when that happens, I will let everybody know. So I just wanted to put that out there so you know kind of the structure of what's happening, and you will get plenty of communication from us about that. So you will not miss it. Fear not. All right. So coming up now, what I'm going to do is play a few-minute recording I did with Lucia to go over a couple of scenarios and conversations that you can have with people in just different social settings. And it kind of tackles some little roadblocks and a little objection handling in terms of like, do I really need to get a referral now type of thing. So take a listen to these and I will start that right now. So I have Lucia Falcone here with us. She is one of our referral experience coordinators. And what I wanted to do, and we haven't prepped this, by the way, so what I wanted to do with her today is do some role playing about conversations that might happen out in the real world and how you as the referral associate might handle typical stumbling blocks, not even quite objections, but how to get around certain hurdles in the conversation to lead it to a positive outcome. So I'm going to start now. I gave Lucia a little scenario that we're going to play out for you. Again, we haven't prepped this, so we have no idea how this is going to go. We'll see how we do. But I'm just pretending I ran into Lucia at some school event. Her son is in high school, and I have a kid in high school, and we ran into each other. Hey, Lucia.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
It has been such a freaking crazy year. How is your son doing? Did he do all his college applications? Are you waiting around for
Yes, we're waiting
answers?
around for some approvals, Karen. You know how that whole process is.
I
He will
do.
probably be going out of state somewhere, I'm
Yeah.
assuming, with his college applications. He applied to Delaware, South Carolina, North Carolina. But yeah, I think in June we're gonna, start
Oh,
finalizing all these decisions for college.
it is crazy. It's a crazy time. I know a while ago you had said you weren't sure if you were going to stay in Jersey once your son graduated. Have you been thinking about what you're going to be doing once that happens?
Yeah, actually, we were thinking about, depending on if he's accepted at these different universities, Delaware, South Carolina, or North Carolina. Yeah, we were thinking about downsizing and probably moving closer to where my son will be attending college.
Well, that totally makes sense because you want to be able to keep a half an eye on him, I'm sure.
Half an eye on him, not so
Even
far
when he's
away.
away.
They like to party down there. I get it.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a question. Would you want me to make you a referral to a couple of people to meet with to take a look at your house so you have some kind of idea what it might be worth?
I have a couple of salespeople I'm currently working with.
Well, let me ask you a question. I don't know who they are, but it definitely doesn't hurt to get a couple of names, especially people who are really strong listing agents, because sometimes, a lot of people have their license, but not everybody is a true full-time agent who really is really in tune with the market, really knows how to get you the most money for your house, which is, I'm sure, what you want to do is you want to, make as much money as possible on your house, I'm assuming.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. I'm going to try to get top dollar, but it's a friend of a friend type of thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. Well, let me ask you, what I can do for you is I can give you a couple of names and just meet with them. Just meet with them. I could give you one from Weichert if you're looking at meeting with a couple of different companies. I could give you one from some of the big offices in the area. So you have something to choose from and you're under no obligation to go with any of them. And it doesn't cost you anything, by the way, for me to make the referral, but you'll have me kind of hand holding you through the process as well, to kind of be your backup support a little bit. So, you know, how does that sound?
well, I kind of don't, I work full time and,
Yeah.
really busy lately. And, but I do have to get this ball rolling because
You do.
it's getting very close. June is like right around the corner when
I
you think
know, I
about it.
know, I
And
know.
then he'll be transitioning. Um,
Well,
hmm.
I have a couple of really good people in mind. What I can do is just put you guys in touch, have a conversation, schedule them all back to back on a Saturday, let them take a walk through, take a look at your house, see how much they think it's worth, and then when you're ready, you can pick whoever, you want to work with, whoever you're comfortable with.
So there's no obligation. And will you pick an agent which will be familiar with my area?
That's the whole point. I want to save you all the legwork of having to figure out who the best people are, who's going to have their finger on the pulse for that town, really know the market for your specific community, not just, a realtor in general in the area, but
Okay.
somebody who really knows that market and knows your area specifically.
Well, I know, Karen, I've known you for a long time, so I have a feeling that you'll be able to get me some good realtors, not just with Weichert, with other companies as well, too, right?
Yeah, yep. You
But
can you
yeah,
can
I
meet
think
with anybody you want.
yeah, if that's all, yeah. And then will you be working with those agents as well? Like if I have any questions, I can call the agent and then could I
Well,
come back
they're
with
they're my
you?
partner because I'm a referral associate. So what I focus on now is kind
Mhm.
of finding the best agent for for you, for the people that I know, and I match them together. So we work in partnership. So yeah, I'm there to support you, be your sounding board. But the person that I refer you to, I would have complete confidence in when it comes to any of the real estate market information. They would definitely be the one to give you all the answers, but I would be there with you every step of the way as well.
Well, makes me feel very confident, especially knowing that I have two people instead of just one person working
Absolutely.
for listing my property. And then also if we decide to move to like Delaware, South Carolina, or North
Yeah.
Carolina, could you, I mean, it's
Yeah.
those are states I've never been to before. Is there any way you can connect me with someone from those states?
Absolutely. So we can connect you with somebody in all of those areas. And let's say you're moving to, oh my goodness, I can't even think of town specifically, but whereverville in South Carolina, you may end up there, or you may want to look 30 minutes away. So like as you're starting to figure out what markets you're interested in, just come
Mhm.
back to me. And if the agent that you're working with in that particular town doesn't go to those other areas, let me know and I'll just reconnect you with a different person, and they'll just start doing that education process for you. Even before you put your house on the market, they'll start sending you some listings, telling you about the neighborhoods. You'll start to feel a little bit more comfortable about the whole process, and we'll do that for every area that you're interested in.
So will those agents send me emails, they'll send me an email with all the listings that are in that
Yeah,
certain
yeah,
area, if it's like
yeah,
Charlotte or if it's
yeah,
Fayetteville or
absolutely.
Charleston, South Carolina. That's good to know because before I list a property, I would like to know what I can buy in North Carolina, South Carolina.
So you start to, narrow down your options a little bit.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, Karen, if you wouldn't mind, let's start with the listing and as
Yep.
well as I guess I can't really look for something at this moment in
Well,
those areas, but because
Well,
I'm
and especially until you don't know where he's going to get
finalizing.
accepted and where you're going to end up. But at least you'll start familiarizing yourself with it, and you'll start to have a better sense of the market once you do kind of commit to which state you want to move to. Then you'll be in a better position to make those decisions. So I'll put that together for you. So if I have your email, I have your phone. I'll get that together. We'll touch base in another couple of days, and I'll get you all set up with all of that.
That's great. Thank you so much because you're going to make this process so much easier for me. Thank you. I love it. Looking
Oh,
forward to it, Karen. Okay.
all right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And there you have it. That was one. And Lucia likes to talk. So we had a really nice long conversation.
Blah, 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 blah. It was a lot of fun. But
But she did bring up some good points to remember that when you're selling, when you have somebody who's selling, you also have the buyer. They're going somewhere, right? Unless they're moving in with family. But chances are they're going to be buying, they're going to be renting, they're doing some kind of relocation. So, and again, if she had said, well, I'm really committed to my neighbor is a realtor up here, I have to, list with her, I would feel terrible if I didn't. That's fine, but then pivot and go to, well, where are you thinking of moving to? Let me get you connected with some realtors in those areas as well. Okay, guys, so here is scenario 2/3. We may include two different scenarios in this one. So let's again just say I'm running into Lucia somewhere at an event. We're going to just chit chat, and then I'm going to ask her about if she's thinking about selling her home at all. Hey, Lucia.
hey, Karen, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while.
I know, I know. What's up? How's the family?
Oh, everybody's doing really well. We're busy here and there. And how about your
Great.
family?
Everybody's good. How's work going?
Oh, everything's really great at work, and everything's just doing great. Fantastic.
I know work has been a little bit crazy for me. I mean, I'm in real estate, I'm sure you remember, but like all of this, the last couple of years have been insane. I mean, first with COVID, and then it was like bidding wars and craziness, and the interest rates were like they were giving away money, and then the interest rates went up to really what's normal, but everybody is freaking out because the interest rates are higher. So it's been a really crazy time, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, I heard also like the bidding wars and the mortgage rates fluctuating up and down, and I could just
It's
imagine.
It is something. So have you, what are you doing with your house? Are you planning to stay, or have you ever given any thought to like
Well,
what you might do down the road?
we've been in our home for like 15 years so far, and we haven't really thought that far in advance on what we're gonna be doing, as I know our
Gotcha.
kids are getting older and they're going to be moving out soon, probably in the next year or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't really thought about it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's once you're all settled in, it could be challenging to think about the next step. But what I always try to tell everybody they should do, and I'll make you this offer also, is you should always just try to get an idea of what your home is currently worth, just like you would check your 401k or your
Oh, yeah.
stocks if you have any, like what is it up? Is it down? How much did I put in? How much have I made? Everybody checks their stocks and 401k, but people forget to check how much equity they have in their home. And the thing that I saw happen over these last couple of years is people, because the home values went up so much, especially in some markets, people have a lot more equity in their home sometimes than they realize. And it may not even be that you want to sell your house. It may be you need a home equity line to do something else. It might be for college, it might be for a vacation home, it might be for whatever. But I really recommend everybody try to do like what I'm calling a home equity review, like review what your home is worth and how much equity you have in your house, especially if you've been in it 15 years, you've paid your mortgage down a bit, and the home values have gone up a lot in 15 years. Just as you're making your plans, like for the next few years, it probably makes sense just to know what it might be worth. Again, no pressure, because if you're not selling, you're not selling, but it just makes sense to know what the value is.
Yeah, we were actually talking about, me and my husband, about how are we going to pay for our the college education for our son, and it's what, a year, not even a year down the
Yeah.
line. And I didn't even think that was an option. I didn't even think that there would be money in my home. You're always thinking like 401k or bank accounts or the
Yeah.
529s. You don't think, hey, I could possibly take cash out on the
Yeah,
home.
yeah. Or you may decide, well, they're gone. Maybe we're going to downsize a little bit, pull out some cash, or there's a million different things you might do. But I always feel like the first step is knowing how much money you have in your house and how much it's worth and what you could do with it. I have some really good people in your neighborhood that I can just recommend to you if you want, just to put you in touch with them and let them come. And I'll tell them in advance, you're not selling right now. Like this is more relationship building, education for you to let you know what your home is worth. And then if you check in with them every 6 months, every year, say, hey, what's happening? And this is like your single biggest asset, that you
Yeah,
have is your house. So
I didn't even think about that. I think those are like great ideas. Do I have to pay for this analysis when they
nope.
come in?
Nope, it's totally free. There's no obligation or anything. And again, from, being totally transparent from their perspective, it's a relationship building
Okay.
thing with you. And for you, again, just like you might have a tax advisor or an investment person, you should have somebody who can advise you on your real estate stuff so that well, what is it worth if I wanted to sell and downsize, or if I wanted to pull money out, or if I wanted to do whatever it is you might want to do, at least you have somebody that you've built up a relationship with and you can trust, to give you good information, like accurate information.
Well, I know that someone sold a home two homes over from me. Would they be able to provide or let me know what that whole, I mean, when they do the
Oh,
market
yeah, totally.
analysis?
Like, and if you tell them, hey, keep me updated when things sell in my neighborhood,
Okay.
like the nosy neighbor report. I used to
Yeah,
like
I'm being nosy. It was
jokingly
like, I wonder what they got for that house
jokingly
down the
call
road.
it. It's like you always want to know what your neighbors' homes are selling for, not because you're, truly being nosy, but it impacts your value, your sense of like what things, are going for in your neighborhood. So yeah, so literally, let me do that. I'll connect you with somebody. I'll send you an email. I'll give you their name. I'll give them your name, and just, at some point you'll connect and just tell them you want to find out how much your home is worth for down the road. Again, it doesn't have to be for right now. But while I have you on the phone, have you heard any rumors of anybody in your neighborhood who might be thinking of selling? We have so many buyers and we are still struggling to find good homes to sell. And you live in a great neighborhood that we have a lot of people interested in. Do you know anybody? Heard any rumors? Anybody who might be thinking of moving?
I do know because, I've been here for 15 years. I did hear that I think it's down the road to the right, and I can always give you the address, that they are moving. They're an older couple that are moving into assisted living. And I noticed that when I was driving down the road that they're moving items out of the home right now.
That's
So
always a good tip. When you see things on the side of the road,
yeah,
there's usually
I keep
something going on.
like trucks and stuff, and it looks like they're cleaning out the house. You could see it right by, like
Yeah.
when you're going around the block, there's things by the garbage over there. So that thing, I would assume that they're transitioning to some type of assisted living. So yeah, I do have, and there's an address I can give you
That
that
would be great. When you have a chance, if you could text that to me or email it to me. And if you don't know them well, we won't mention that you specifically gave us their name. We could just reach out to the owners there and reach out to the house in general. We can leave you out of it. We call that anonymous. It's like an
okay.
anonymous tip. We don't need to tell them. But if you do know them, we can certainly say we were chatting and, Lucia mentioned that she thought you might be making some kind of transition and we wanted to offer our assistance and see if they needed any help. But yeah, so it was so nice to talk to you today.
It was great talking to you as well. Thank you, Karen. That you
You're
really helped me
welcome.
tremendously, and I'm really looking forward to connecting with the realtors you're recommending. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was it. So now Lucia and I are two talkers, so we like to talk, but that just gives you an idea of how it can feel like a regular conversation. It doesn't have to feel like a sales pitch. And that may even been a little bit more on the awkward side for the two of us because we both knew what we were doing and we were doing it, kind of as a planned thing. But in real life, it's not that hard. There are times when I run into people and I mean, literally, again, I keep throwing my poor daughter, Rebecca, under the bus with this, but I'm like, she's going to start looking for a house soon. And I keep saying, now, don't forget, don't walk into an open house and forget to tell them that you have an agent or, let me refer you to somebody in that town so that, you're not just sucked into the open house and end up working with the listing agent. You should have your own agent representing you. So share that with people that that might be out looking. They may be like, oh, I'm not really buying till next year. I'm just going to go to the open houses. But before you know it, they become attached to some agent that they met who's good at keeping in touch, and then they feel obligated. So always be proactive when you're talking with people and make sure that you're telling them how this actually works. Let me get you an agent so you have your own person. You can still go to all the open houses, just tell them you're working with somebody. It's very easy to do, but it's very easy for the people to forget to do it unless you give them very specific instructions. So that's our tip for the day about kind of some conversations, objection handling, how to bring it up in conversation. Hope you found that helpful. And Lucia, thank you so much for being my little partner in crime here.
It was fun, Karen. So thank you for including me. I really appreciate it. And I
no
hope it helps
problem.
the agents as well. Okay.
Great. Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Yeah. So hopefully, you know, I let those conversations because, like I said, Lucia does like to talk. So, we were having conversations, but I hope like eavesdropping a little bit on how a conversation can go and how when you ask somebody, how's work going? Either they're going to say to you, well, what's going on with you? How's work? Or when they answer, you kind of pivot like I did in that second conversation and just say, oh, I know. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I'm in real estate and this is what's been, there's a way to turn those conversations so you can bring it back to real estate and say what you have to say and just kind of go into the conversation and let it flow a little naturally. All right, so we're going to shift gears. I'm going to talk about two challenges that homeowners in this market today have. Because, we'll here we go. I'll play it for you and then we'll talk about it. All righty. So now I want to talk a little bit about two of the biggest challenges we're having in today's market and two challenges that homeowners are really facing. So number one is the issue that so many homeowners are what we're calling rate locked. They either bought or refied at a time when the mortgage rates were so low that they feel it's impossible for them to sell right now because in order to sell, they have a couple of challenges. They need to be able to buy something, which again, in today's market, there's so little inventory that they don't think they're going to be able to buy. And if they buy, they're going to be paying so much more for the new house in terms of the interest rate. So that's kind of keeping them locked into their home. So I want to share with you some statistics about how many homeowners are currently in their homes at various interest rate kind of price points.
So right now, the average mortgage rate for existing homeowners for their mortgages, so mortgages that they already have and that they're in, is less than 4%. I want to think about that for a second. The average mortgage rate of current homeowners is less than 4%. Almost 25% are less than 3%. So they either bought or refied when the mortgage rates went really low. So 25% are sitting under 3%. It is going to take some strong motivation, some strong life-changing event to get those folks to sell, because anything they buy, if they bought a $500,000 house and are paying 2.7, and they bought a $500,000 house now and they're paying 6 point whatever, they've basically more than doubled their carrying cost. So that's, unless they have a life-changing event that's happening, they are not going to be our ready sellers at this moment. 40.8% of homeowners are between 3 and 4%. Again, same scenario. So now we're talking 65-ish% of the existing homes have mortgage rates under 4%. So again, barring a really life-changing event that's happening, which does happen, death, divorce, diapers, diamonds, as we say, there's all of these things. Those people will have to sell regardless. So looking at some of the other interest rates, 20% are between 4 and 5%, 7% are between 5 and 6, and 7.5% are over 6. So we've got kind of like 15% of the market, basically, that are over 5%. Now, again, there are people, this is kind of the hidden market, who have no mortgage, right? They've been in their house for 30 years, 40 years, and they have no mortgage. So this kind of scenario is not impacting them. The people who are sitting with these mortgages are saying, okay, let's say I can sell, because they can sell. It's a great time to be selling because the inventory level is so low. So if they sell, then they're saying, well, what am I buying? I'm not even going to be able to find something to buy, and I'm going to have to pay such an incrementally higher mortgage rate for what I buy that it doesn't make sense for them. But if we, again, really focus on the people who have been in their house, even let's say 25 or more years, and maybe considering downsizing, those people have either paid off their mortgage or come close to paying off their mortgage. They've had a tremendous amount of appreciation in their home. So as long as they haven't refied and pulled out a lot of cash, they are sitting on a nice size nest egg there of equity in their home that they can take out, whether it's to buy something bigger or smaller, whatever way they're going to be able to really transition without the interest rate situation impacting them, and without the lack of inventory coming into play as much, because they're going to be basically a cash or near all cash buyer and will be in a really strong position to make another purchase without the interest rate issue impacting them. So I suggest everybody really focus on neighborhoods that tend to have a lot of people who have been in their homes for a long time, people that that might be thinking of downsizing, people that might be thinking of retiring, going into assisted living. This is the inventory that's going to be coming on the market, and that will help kind of revitalize everything. Because I know there are still a lot of buyers out there. I mean, I've seen the open houses with 20, 30, 40, 50. I even read about one of the people in New Jersey who had almost 100 people. Think about that. Buyers come through that house. If we had the inventory, we would be having the sales, but our inventory is about 20% lower than it was January of last year. So we just don't have the inventory. On the positive side, it's keeping the prices strong, right? We're not in free fall by any stretch because we don't have enough inventory, but it is still kind of making that market very tight for our buyers because there's just not a lot of inventory out there. So I do suggest reaching out to your sphere of influence, reaching out to your neighborhoods, seeing who might be thinking of selling, especially people who are long-term homeowners.
Yeah, so the two biggest challenges for current homeowners are for those people that have mortgages at great rates. They feel very locked in, and they're afraid they're not going to be able to find something to buy. So, that's the conversation we need to be having.
All right,
with
so
them.
here are some reasons to remember about why people move, and these are the people we need to be looking for. Diapers, people having babies, diamonds, engagements, weddings, death, divorce, diplomas, graduations, high school, college, right? People, meaning like either parents might be selling the house, moving out of the area, or with college graduations, people might be moving into the next stage of their life and buying a home, downsizing, discretionary income. So maybe you know people who are doing well and have a lot of money. Maybe they're looking to buy an investment property or a second home, a vacation home. The daily grind. Maybe people, again, on the other side, looking to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. Maybe they can work remote and no longer need to be where they are, and they can move to a less expensive area or a location they always wanted to be able to work out of. So maybe they're selling their home. And dumpsters. You look out for the dumpsters out, in the neighborhood, or bulk pickup. When you see a lot of activity going on in a house, chances are something's happening.
So, one thing I always like to think about is, well, when people are selling, where are they actually going to? Where is this migration coming to? Where are people moving to? Like if they're moving out of the Northeast, where are they moving to? And if they're moving into like our areas, wherever your area might be, where are they coming from? Because again, that could help us brainstorm a little bit about people we know, people we come in contact, conversation starters we can have with them. So I'm going to show you a little segment on a site that I like to go on, which is an IRS site, which has an interactive map that shows kind of the migration patterns of where people are moving from and where they're moving to.
All right, so here are some. So one interesting site that I like to follow is called How Money Walks. And what it has is an interactive map of the IRS tracking where people move to and from, because they're basically tracking it, I guess, using their tax returns. So they can see, somebody in Morris Plains, New Jersey, moved to wherever, right? So they're tracking what states are the ones that are having a lot of people moving in and moving out. And when there is the moving in and out, where are they coming from and going to? Now, I actually think this is very interesting to kind of track, because it may trigger you to think about, well, who do I know that might be moving to these areas? So it's a good brainstorming exercise. So I'm going to share my screen and show you a little bit about how this site works. Okay, so here we are, How Money Walks, and I'm on the interactive screen. So all of the states that are red are the states that have more people moving out of. The ones that are green have more people moving into them, and then there's all the gradations in between. So if we focus over here on the Northeast, right, we've got New York, we've got Massachusetts, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. I'm going to click on New Jersey and zoom in a little, and then it has all of the counties, right? So if we look at New Jersey as a whole, we can see that we are losing people to Florida. We lost $26 billion worth of income. So this is tracking income to Florida. Next is Pennsylvania. So that's just a state move. North Carolina is next. California and Texas. Not, looking at this, I'm going to say people from New Jersey predominantly moved to Florida. But where in Florida are they moving? So let's look at people from Morris County. People from Morris County are predominantly moving to Palm Beach County or to Somerset or Ocean County, so staying local in New Jersey, going to Collier County, which is, I think, on the west coast of Florida, near Naples, I believe. We're going to look over there. It's either Naples or Tampa. I can't remember. Or Monmouth County. So they're either moving into less expensive counties or shore counties in New Jersey, or predominantly going to Palm Beach County, Florida. If I let's look at another one. Let's look at, trying to find Bergen County here. All right, let's look at Bergen County. Again, $1.6 billion worth of people's income, so people and homes, moving to Palm Beach County. And then from there, the only other place people seem to move is just to other counties in New Jersey. If we want to look at, let's say, where people are moving into, so we can look here, people are moving into Monmouth County, coming from Middlesex, Richmond, Kings County, New York, Hudson County, New Jersey, Union County. So that's where people are moving into there from. So anyway, I just thought you might find this a little bit of an interesting map to take a look at and play around with. Check out where people are moving from and to. Here we go. I'm in Florida. I'm trying to see what we got going on here. That was Naples. Naples, Marco Island is that second county that has a lot of people moving to it, and then also Palm County. So we've got Palm Beach County here, which has like Boca, West Palm Beach, all of that. So anyway, if you know people who are making these moves back and forth, this map could maybe help trigger some of your brainstorming about where people are moving from and to from your area.
Yep. So that's the site, howmoneywalks.com. Next month, I'm going to invite some realtors from down in Florida to give you a little insight into what's happening in the Florida market. So that if you're up here in the Northeast and you know people who are relocating, number one, maybe you have some specific people you can refer them to down there if like you get a little familiar with a couple of people, but also so you have some general information that you can share with them about, kind of the trends and what prices are doing down there, what you can get for your money down there. All right. So a couple quick congratulations. Congratulations to Christina and Marguerite for being our top 2 associates for January. They each had 2 closings. So congratulations to them. And then we have a nice little list here. Frank, Nancy, Carol, Donna, Georgia, Kevin, Marjorie, Peter, Philip, and William all placed multiple referrals last month. So we like to see that. Hang on. I am going to stop sharing my screen. And hang on. See if I can get my camera back on. Here we go. I just wanted to see if anybody had any specific questions I could answer. Anybody have any questions about anything? BJ, sure.
How you doing today? How are you doing this evening? My issue is with the disability housing again.
And what's the question with regard to that?
Basically, when people, my question is, how are we going to explore people with disabilities? They're still looking for housing, and the biggest problem right now is they're being discriminated. How do we explore?
Well,
that situation?
I totally understand that's an issue as referral associates. I don't know that, other than trying to make sure that you refer people that may have those issues to somebody who's very sensitive to that and is proactive with that. We're kind of in a different community because you're not functioning as an active realtor. So we're just doing referrals. And to be honest, I'm not an expert on the issue specifically. So I don't want to, talk about something that I'm not I know that is a concern for you. You've raised it several times, and maybe there's some, committees or something out there in the real estate world that you can get involved with to advocate more. But in terms of us, I think it's if you have somebody that needs some special attention with regards to that, we should make sure that you tell us that so that we're finding a realtor to refer them to that is extremely sensitive to that.
The thing is should in the current an apartment complex display the ADA certification?
Again, that's not something, while I understand your interest in it, it's just not something as referral associates that we really have any control over. That's not our function in our role. So again, I would say if you want to advocate, within groups that do advocate for that, like to get involved personally, you should absolutely do that. But as referral associates, we really are not directly involved with that. So
Yeah, thank you, Karen. Thank you.
All right.
And I also emailed you today, yesterday.
I got it. I'll
So
take care of
check
it.
it.
Yep. No problem. Anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah, I was wondering, I asked this a while ago, is it legal or is it possible for someone to advertise their, if they have their reference agent to put it on Facebook, to list it in a paper or anything like that?
If you can advertise what was the specific thing you were trying to advertise?
Because I'm the special, I'm the referral agent.
You absolutely. So, you can share. So let's say, I don't know, let's say there's an agent that you've connected with in a particular branch and you want to refer some business in a particular market. You can share MLS listings on your Facebook. You could share anything that's a publicly available thing, right? So like, realtor, all listings that are on the MLS are considered, publicly available stuff. So you can share listings, you can promote yourself, your title, if you're licensed in New Jersey, is salesperson, and then in parentheses, referral. So like, that's how you list your title, yeah, but yeah, but you can absolutely promote. And on our design, the Referral Associate Design Center, which if you ever need to get access to, if you call one of our referral coordinators, they can get you into it. We have like different kinds of free branded posts that you could put your photo and your name and download it as a JPEG to be able to post just, some marketing things. If you're in the Facebook group, you can share blogs. You can, and again, always finish it with, hey, if you or somebody is thinking of buying or selling, reach out to me. I can connect you with, you could say however you want, connect you with the top person in your area, however you want to phrase that. But yes, you can and should be promoting yourself and your business.
And it's on Facebook, it's free.
Yeah.
It's free.
On Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, these are all opportunities, and again, marketing yourself through Facebook is as good of, I did stop sharing my screen, right? You can see me. Okay. Marketing yourself on Facebook gives you so many different opportunities, right? Like I am in different Facebook groups, and sometimes I see people, and it may not be like a real estate related Facebook group, but people saying, "Oh, I'm thinking of moving," or "Does anybody know any towns in such and such an area that I should think of?" And then you can just jump in. You can, you can direct message them. You can say, "Hey, if you need somebody, I have a couple good realtors I can refer you to," blah blah blah. People. You see it's their birthday, message them, hey, happy birthday. It's been so long since we've connected. How are you doing? Like you can open up all of these conversations online with people through messaging. Birthdays, you see that they have somebody graduating. You see they had their first grandchild. You could say whatever it is, engage in, be a human. I was like, that's what I was just kind of trying to show a little bit with the conversations I did with Lucia is it doesn't have to feel like a sales pitch for yourself. It could just be you're showing interest in what's going on with their life and, saying, hey, if you need any help, I'm here to help, as opposed to like a prospecting call. It's a different thing. So like if you start opening up communication with people that and maybe haven't spoken to in a million years, via messaging on Facebook, it is free and it is easy and it's not as intimidating as picking up a phone and like calling a lot of people or anything like that. It's social, so it's definitely something everybody should be thinking about doing for sure.
And is there a place on the referral website where I could get tips on how to get started?
Yeah, well, if you're in our Facebook group, go there. But if you want any like one-on-one conversations with like, hey, help me lay out a strategy, reach out to find, I don't know who off the top of my head, who your referral coordinator is, if it's Sarah, Lucia, or Juan. But if you email us, you'll see in a minute, I'll put up a slide with just reminding everybody of the email address. If you email us and say, hey, who's my referral coordinator, then reach out to them and let them help set you up. You know what I mean? With some small goals, some small action plans for yourself.
Okay,
right.
that's very good. Thank you so much.
Great, Curtis. Anybody else have a question? Christina, sure.
Yeah, I wanted to know if we place a referral and you assign an agent, can we then reach out to the agent and ask them how it's going, or should we go back to our?
Oh, you absolutely should. So this is as good of an opportunity as any for me to, I'm sure I have a slide coming up as a reminder of placing the referrals. But let's say it's your, I don't know, whatever, your neighbor, somebody you know, and first step is you should call us before you, even if you know who you want to refer them to, before you do that, call us or email us or go on our website and click the place a referral button, which gives all, the information to us. Either we'll refer it to the person that you suggest if you have a name, or we'll pick somebody. At that point, we'll get the paperwork signed. We'll exchange everybody's information, and you're in the loop with that. So you're kind of in the loop getting the information too. And then you absolutely can pick up the phone and call the agent at any point and to be like, hey, I just want to give you a little more information about my client. This is their personality. These are some of the things that they're kind of looking for. Here's some of their hot buttons, whatever. You can advise them, talk to them, do anything you want with the other agent. And if you want to check in with them whenever, periodically, it's also good for you to do that, because what if you realize your client's not hitting it off with this person, right? For whatever reason, they're not in love with them. Call us back and say, I don't know if they love this person. It's not a perfect match for them. Who else do you have that they can work with? And this is more if I'm on a buyer. If it's already listed and it's a listing, obviously it's a slightly different situation. But let's say, whatever, or they're changing areas. They thought they were looking in Morris County, and now all of a sudden they want to go look down in Ocean County, or they want to expand into another state. So keeping in touch with both your client and the agent to figure out what's happening, absolutely. It's easy to do, and you should definitely do it if you can.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Let me quickly, we're just about done, but I'm going to share my screen. Hang on. I don't forget what else. Oh, did that. Yeah, so this is just my reminder. If you go to weichertreferrals.com, you'll see a big yellow button that says place a referral. We have a new website launching, same address, but just refreshed. It's going to be coming out probably next week with a really easy form to fill out when you have a referral to place. And then once you place it, if you place it online, your referral coordinator will still give you a quick call or email you and say, hey, just making sure I have all the information, anything else I should know about them, any preferences. Has a place for you to say if you have a particular realtor in mind or not. And again, don't feel pressure like you need to have a name. You don't need to have a name, because it may not be an area And I'd rather you not randomly pick somebody. I'd rather we pick somebody, because it's actually not random at that point. We have information on all of these people, and we try to pick the best person. If you're not an online person, you could pick up the phone and call us, or you could email us, whatever is easiest for you. And we do place the referrals at 37.5 is what we place them at. And if you're not yet in our Facebook group, join us. We have lots of things there, especially if you're looking to share things. Like every week or so I go in, I post another blog from some source that you can share. I even tell you what you could write on as your comment so that you can share it, or different graphics. If you have a question, I post the replays of like the webinars and different things that we do so that it's easy to find. It's a good place just to find stuff. All right. So I'm going to pick our raffle winner before we wrap up. I always pick a random number, and then I scroll through all of the names to pick the person. Hang on. All right. So today's business card, and you could, by the way, if you already have business cards, you could use the credit. I think it's a $50 credit in the design center. You can use it for something else in there, like postcards or whatever you might want. I do recommend business cards if you don't have them, because that's a good thing to have. The winner is Dolores. So congratulations, Dolores. Kushni, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correct, but you know who you are. So you're the winner. And I'm going to share the contact information in case you need to jot this down, but I'll send this to you, and I'll also post this in the Facebook group. You could always just call our main number. it'll give you like press 1 for referrals, press 2 for, I don't know, commissions, whatever. I forget the order, but it has a little menu. Or you could just email us at referral@weichertrealtors.net and we'll sort it out. We'll direct you where you need to go if you tell us what it is that you need. So that's it. That's all I got for you today. I appreciate you guys joining me. I always like seeing everybody. If you ever have any questions or need anything, reach out. You could reach us right here at this referral@weichertrealtors.net email address, and we'll get you to whoever is the best person to help you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week and great weekend. And I will see you all again next month.
Okay, thank you. Bye, Karen.
Thanks, Karen.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.